All right?
Yep. So Angelo, thanks for having a chat to us. It's really good to be here with you. You always talk a lot. You're great friends with Dad, and how much your relationship has meant to him over the time. He always looks up to you for inspiration and working forward through business ideas and concepts. With one of those concepts, he always actually says, I'll speak to Angelo, because you're a mover and a shaker. You've been in Adelaide quite a long time. You've been in Adelaide your whole life?
No, originally from Sydney.
Yep.
And came to Adelaide in 1976. But I still call South Australia home.
That's when I was born.
Get out.
What an amazing year.
Wow,
1976 was. It doesn't get much more spectacular than that.
True.
So Bickford's Australia has an amazing history in Australia, specifically South Australia. And I had a look that they used to be supplying pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And then from pharmaceuticals, they made a decision in 1874 to then go into doing lime juice.
Yeah.
That's how it went down?
That is actually exactly how it went down. In fact, it was started as an apothecary, meaning the old pharmacy type store and chemist shop. And I got involved in 1992 by a wonderful couple, Guy and Adele Lloyd. They got me in to have a look at the business as a consultant. I had a look at it, and my advice to them was shut the doors and sell the brand, because it was losing a lot of money at the time. And when I went to speak to a lot of customers, and one of those customers was your dad, even going back to Foodland Semaphore days, a guy called Matthew Nasaris, who used to be around.
Yep.
And I spoke with Phil Destino, I spoke with the Romeos and that, and I said, help me understand Bickford's. And they said, no one's ever looked for it, no one's looked after it. It was on the top right-hand corner and the bottom left-hand corner. No one could delete it. And I felt at the time, this is a great opportunity, because they said, what would you like to do? I said, I'll get involved, but at some point I want to buy the family out. And so from 1992 to 1999, I ran it and then ended up buying it in 1999.
It's amazing history to talk about a product, a well-known brand in South Australia. And we talk about brands, we've got a couple of new products behind us. And I've noticed you've been able to innovate so much over the time that you've been into the helm, and even the last 5 to 10 years has really rapidly increased the innovation in Bickford's.
Yes.
Is something being said around these offices which is giving people the ability to innovate more, or is this all you?
It's not all me. I wish it was. That'd be dangerous. We work on the principle of integrity, pride, collaboration, empowerment, and accountability. And that means you allow people to make decisions. So I'm not the one who's got all the greatest ideas. In fact, as my dad once said to me, he said, always employ somebody who's smarter than you. So that's where innovation comes from. It's not just me, it's everyone.
And we talk about innovation, and recently Australia and the world has gone through COVID-19. To be honest, Australia's adapted extremely well to the situation. But talk about innovation. One of the things that you identified very early on in the piece, and I believe you were one of the first people to come out with a hand sanitizer. How did that all come about?
Well, in a true story, last week of February, we're ready to go to the US to exhibit our products at a trade show called Natural Products. We sensed through our wheel and barrow business, some of our staff were getting queries about how do you keep things clean, how do we protect our staff? And we checked within technical, and we asked the guys, can you have a look at a formulation for sanitizer? And they came back to us with a formulation, and the formulation included ethanol, included glycerin, but then you needed a plastic bottle and a line to run it down. So I looked at it, put it to the group, and the group said, we're not interested, we shouldn't do it, don't even worry about it. But when we go back to our principles, our key principle is making sure we look after our staff. So what we did is we said, I think it's important to do it. The staff protection is most interesting for us, and we've got the ethanol. We've got a distillery in Queensland, Beanley Distillery, which is the first licensed distillery in Australia. We bought that nearly 10 years ago. Now that's 70% of the product formulation is ethanol. And at that point in time, ethanol was in very, very short supply. We were very fortunate that having our own distillery meant we had a lot of stock. So what we did is we created a set of principles. The first principle was keep our staff safe. So we made product for our staff. The second one was for the community. And the community to us is hospitals, police stations, aged care facilities. And the third one was I call business continuity. And business continuity was making sure our customers had access to the product. So to us, it was an incredibly challenging time when we said to the team, how do we get this product out really quickly? And within 21 days, we had a product on the shelf. We protected our staff, we gave it to the community, and then people like yourselves and a lot of other great retailers took it on to have it on the shelf when there was nothing in existence. Normally our process takes 6 months to develop a new product, sometimes 12 months, sometimes 18 months. This one took 21 days. And a lot of people said, no, we couldn't do it. But in the end, everybody's taken the credit for it. And I think it's great that they have, that we tested ourselves. So suddenly a 12-month and 18-month lead time for a new product, when it gets down to 21 days, it says, when you want to do something and you put your mind to it, you can do it.
You can actually do it.
You can do it.
Well, and you've obviously proven that.
The opportunity for us is to keep people safe, but we're basing it on what we call world-class standards. So to us, it's the WHO formulation. It's also the CDC formulation. The CDC is called the Center for Disease Control in the US. NSA Health. When you put all those together, there's a lot of smart people who have developed the product. We think we're going to take it one step further, which is we want to create an industry here, because I think this is one of the great opportunities for Australia in the future. The biggest issue with all the stuff with Sanitiser, outside of the ethanol and the blowing the bottles, was the pump and the spray. Right? 100% of that is made overseas. Right? I'll put a challenge to the government, state and federal, to say, we've got a lot of smart people here. I'll back it, let's make it here.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
With all the challenges that we had, we overcame every single one of them. In fact, the team now are looking at what's the next iteration, and I look forward to the next chat that we have, and we'll show you what we're going to do and how we're going to do it.
How much ethanol do you actually produce from your own distillery?
Well, this year we'll produce about 1 million litres, where normally we'll produce about 250,000 litres of alcohol. And when you take the number one ingredient, 70% of a sanitizer is actually ethanol. You've got the main ingredient.
So whereabouts is the hand sanitizer made?
It's actually made out the back here at Salisbury.
Right here?
Right here at Salisbury. What we did is, when we first got the ethanol in, we said, how are we going to deliver it to our customers? And we found we had some old moulds. And the moulds that we do, we actually blow our own plastic bottles here. So rather than ship them in a truck that's full of air, we actually blow the bottles here and then we fill them.
So can you drink it?
No. No, the glycerin doesn't taste all that good. It actually will probably give you a laxative effect, if anything. So
do you want to tell us about the product?
One of the things that we did is we said, what is the world standard for sanitizer? So there are 3 types of standards that you have. You have the TGA standard, which is Therapeutic Goods Act, which takes about 18 months.
And that's a hospital grade?
Well, yes, it can be, but technically a TGA product is either 65% alcohol or up to 90% alcohol. What we decided was it was called a cosmetic grade, which was at 70% alcohol. Now we're actually making an 80% alcohol, which is WHO standard. So for hospitals, also for technically the community moving forward, because what we started to do is say, what did people want? We found that the gels, most gels don't have any ethanol in them whatsoever. And when we checked on the SA Health website, there's a difference between a gel product and a liquid sanitizer. And the liquid sanitizer is better than a gel. So we felt, what do people want to do? They want to sanitize their facilities.
Do you have plans to export the sanitizer?
Yes, there are some places that we're looking at selling it to, but our first priority is here. That's number one. Our next iteration is going to be what we're going to do in terms of brand, in terms of packaging, and to make sure we create not only more jobs here, but more jobs in terms of investing out the back, because this is a great place to do business. I know I can call on yourselves to support us on what we wanted to do. As we said right at the beginning, I think I made a phone call to yourself and their dad saying, we've developed something, but it's not what we're going to do now, it's what we're going to do in 6 months. It's going to be ready for you to make sure your business grows, because your success is actually our success as well, and that's what we love.
And that's what it's all about, supporting local.
I totally agree with you.
Can I get both of you just to do a clap?
A clap.
Yeah, so just a lap.
This is, we clap ourselves at the start to give us positivity.
Okay, I get that.
Just to sync up the audio.
He hates it.
He hates it?
He's a clap-o-matic.